tagged in a gang of stuff this weekend. I was working on a book and finishing a couple of songs that are left for the middle passage, and a bunch of people tagged me because of the song that I wrote, "Dance with the Devil," and they tagged me because obviously another artist and several other people have put forth the topic of like Satanism or wickedness in hip hop, or then there was a video with someone twerking on a devil or something. So when people started asking me about demonic imagery, I said to people that the concept of the record can be anything. You just have to make it tasteful and understanding. You know, it can't just be gratuitous violence. There has to be a rationale, a reason, a moral to the story. And that brings up the thing that I wanted to discuss today, which is morality in music. Do you think that people should get morals from their music? And this isn't about just Lil Nas X or anything else. Please don't think it's related to him. I grew up in an era where we had the advent of something called horrorcore music. Now, horrorcore is different than hardcore, right? I'm going to explain that to people who don't understand. Horrorcore is different than hardcore. Horrorcore music was like the Gravediggers, a group called the Flatliners, right? Now, these people rhymed about insane stuff. I mean, we're talking about the RZA and everybody who was there. The intro single was called "Diary of a Madman." Right now, obviously, that was done with a concept, with an idea behind it, and I think what people find, I don't know why they pearl clutch or they decide to get all offended. Oh my God, and oh, this is terrible. And it's like, no, hip hop has seen that so many times. Brother Lynch Hung, wasn't he? See, the thing about Brother Lynch Hung, though, is that he really, I'm not sure if it was him, and I don't want to get this wrong, so no disrespect to him if it wasn't him, but wasn't he the one who ate a woman's lung? And I think that before people talk about a specific artist in connection to what I'm saying, is that when you talk about the morality of music, I come from the golden era, right? Everyone talks about the golden era of hip hop. The golden era produced some very morally bankrupt music, right? Like, I hate to say it, lyrically amazing, but if you take it word for word, right? Even a person like Nas, when they say more money, more murder, more homicide, catch that body, nigga, better have that alibi. I mean, people can say, is he advocating murder? No, he's talking about what goes on in the streets. When I saw hardcore artists and horrorcore artists use demonic imagery in rock and roll and like punk rock and that type of music, I asked my homies, I was like, yo, what is this? Do these people really worship the devil? And the most interesting response that I got is, no, it ain't that it's devil worship. It's that these artists are making a commentary and saying that this society is satanic worship, that this society is basically a society of really corrupt people who are in power, who are satanic. And if God is in charge, then how could he be in charge of a government which oversees so much murder and so much death and so much foreign intervention and making money off of people who just want to feed their family, and they're selling a plant and you're putting them in jail for God knows how many years? You have elite pedophile rings. You have half the countries hooked on some shit. The problem is that when you talk about devil worship or demonic imagery, what those people were saying is that America itself is demonic, and it lives with this kind of really, really internal struggle of good and evil. It was founded for what people think are the best reasons under the most horrible conditions. And I hate when historical revisionists want to go back and tell us how bad slavery wasn't. Shut the fuck up. You complained about wearing a mask for 2 months. You're going to tell me that you know how bad slavery was or wasn't? Fucking hang yourself if you can find a ceiling strong enough. This is what I'm saying. You have to contend with the the reality of people understanding fully what they were involved in. You know, the people who founded this country, they were Masons. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's not, some freak out of line shit. That's the truth. A Mason's sixth degree is to read the Quran, to understand its structural, its power in terms of structural government. And I think what's interesting is, so you knew so much about how African people have ruled themselves for years, but now all of a sudden you need quick labor, quick energy, so you make up this malicious lie and use it to disguise what your objective is, right? So then who's really the liar? Who's really the Satan worshiper? Is it a little black kid who's on TV? Or is it the society that, they don't sell shoes with blood. They write their names on the bombs. They're taking money away from school programs so we can bomb Yemen right now. You know that, right? We're taking away money from school programs so we can bomb Yemen, and y'all got a little black kid's name in your mouth like he's the problem. It's no different than the punk rock that I've seen, where people sit out there for years and make these crazy, imagery, devils, and a fucking a skeleton with its whole fucking chest open. And I say, man, what was all that for? And they said, well, part of it was just to be cool. All the old school dudes would tell me, it's just trying to be cool. Like, yeah, but also making a statement. What was the statement? That this society is devilish. That it's illegal to give homeless people food if you're a restaurant. Think about that. You could lose your license to serve liquor and serve food and be out of business as a company if you give starving people food. But a little gay black kid is the devil? No, you're the devil. Fuck you people. What's wrong with you? That's just marketing. It's just marketing for music. You people are the devil, right? You want to go back to normal before the pandemic, where a guy who worked here for 40 years of his life and was born in another country and came here when he was 8 months old can get yanked out of his fucking car, thrown in a cage with other sick people while their family suffers and starves and dies. That's normal? That was normal. That's just the law. That doesn't make it normal. That doesn't make it right. It's fucking insane. But he's the problem. Some little kid is the problem. Huh? Some little kid who don't know no better about nothing. He's the problem. No, you're the problem. This devilish society. And that's what I have to say about that. Like, when it comes to religion and God, I'll be very real with you. I, for a long, long time, when I was a kid, was a person of great faith. I don't share those stories because, obviously, I'm not a religious fanatic anymore, but as a little kid, man, Jesus was my best friend. I could sit there and talk to him about anything. And I think what I see in terms of religion is I have a great amount of respect for people who I see who practice it with actual faith in God in their hearts. And it's very easy for you to be able to tell the difference. Because I think that what individuals forget is that a person can only hide who they are for so long before they reveal themselves. And once a person is exposed, all they have left is audacity. Remember that quote. Once a person is exposed, all they have left is audacity. And I think for me, when I look at our society, it represents everything that Jesus Christ was against in many ways. And if America actually lived by the teachings of Jesus Christ, there would be people who claim to be followers of Jesus Christ who would say that Jesus was a communist, or that he hated America, or he wanted to destroy the family. No, it's just that a person like Jesus would say, well, you can't preach morality and then deny basic healthcare coverage for women. If you want to get people to stop having abortions, why don't you take care of children that are born? Why don't you say to a woman getting an abortion, I'll help you feed your baby. I'll help you take care of the house. I'll be here to babysit while you're working. That's how you stop someone from that, not by hanging in front of a place of business with a sign saying you're going to hell for terminating a pregnancy. Maybe that's because Jesus was more pragmatic than the people who stole his fucking religion. But I think that that's, in a sense, what, I believe when it comes to stuff like that. So I have a great amount of respect for people who practice Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Christianity, whatever it may be. But if you're just doing it for a paycheck and you're doing it just to get some money or feel like you can just give it up to God, remember that in Christianity, you can't just pray to Jesus and all your sins are forgiven. That's not how it works. You people forgot this. You have to atone. You know that word? Christians don't like to hear that word, atonement. But that's what you have to do. You hear the word tithing all day long as a Christian, don't you? Even Muslims, Jewish people, oh, you got to give to the church, give to the synagogue. That doesn't take away your sin, dummy. All the religions are the same in that sense. You have to atone. In Islam, there is atonement. In Judaism, there is atonement. In Christianity, there is atonement. You atone for your sins. You say, yeah, I did wrong. I fucked up. Hey, man, I've done wrong. I've done people wrong in my life. I regret the way that things happened. No, Drew, my theology isn't way off. It's called atonement. All religions have their specific branding for it, but it's atonement. It means that you make up for the sins that you've committed. Do you understand me? And if you can't do that and you've taken that out of your religion, then is it really the ship of Theseus anymore? Don't play philosophical games with me. Someone asked me what I know about the Nephilim. Well, I know that I would have been a lot taller, but a motherfucker like me just ate mad pizza when I was a little kid, and chocolate bars. But when I think about how I could have been 8 feet tall, that's amazing to me. So yeah, there's the Nephilim for you. Genesis 6. So I didn't mean to get all religious on you guys today, but a lot of people have continuously asked me about how I view religion and faith, and I think that faith will definitely play a large role in the next large conflict inside the United States. And I think that what people fail to realize is that when a left-wing government comes into power, like communism or socialism, they love to talk about the consolidation of politics. And to some degree, that's true. They consolidate all the left-wing factions. But here's the other side of the coin that people don't often realize. When a right-wing government comes into play or a religious society takes control, like a theocracy, what they do is they consolidate all those forms of faith. And those people that won't consolidate or conform in those forms of faith become persecuted. That's why when you read about the Crusades as an abstract concept, please remember something. Half the Crusades were not against Christians. I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to put it in a rhyme for you so you get it through your head. Half the Crusades were not against Muslims. They were against other Christians. Do you understand? Half the Crusades were not against Muslims. They were against other Christians. And it was to consolidate the power of the Catholic Church at that time because it wanted to be the one reign supreme entity that controlled your relationship with God at the time. I hate to drop it on you like that, but that's just what this is. You look at it between right and left a lot, but the reality is that we're all just human beings struggling for control of resources on this planet. Do you understand? We just want to control resources like healthcare, all that. That's just window dressing for our society to keep moving. At the end of the day, we are a militaristic society that is competing actively with 2 or 3 other world powers right now for control of the resources of this planet. all the other belief systems, when you look at them, right? This is my critique of belief. You wanted my positive influences with religion. Here's my negative ones. Regardless of what people say about Christianity and its role in slavery, or Islam or Judaism, or whatever, in the role of slavery and how it affects African people and indigenous people, please don't think that it was just used as a tool of pacification for us. Christianity was used as an incredibly powerful tool of pacification for poor and struggling working white class people. If you think Christianity has done a number on black people looking for freedom, well, then you should look at working class white people looking for freedom that vote against their own interests all the time because they're told by their pastors or other people that are sitting there collecting money who don't pay taxes what they should do with their money, who they should support, how they should go to war, turn a blind eye to war. So now you have people who interpret the Bible for them, who read the Bible selectively, who read a slave Bible. For those of you who know what that is. A slave Bible was a Bible in which all of the rebellious parts of it were omitted. Because one dirty secret about the United States of America is that all slave revolts that happen here, all major slave revolts, I shouldn't say all of them, but all of the major slave revolts, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, Nat Turner, they were all done by people who were avid readers of the Bible. And so the Bible had to be changed. The Bible was taken, and the secessionist parts of it, ironically, by the South, and this is why I think karma is an interesting concept. So the South wanted to remove the secessionist ideas from the Bible. And in a sense, got its ass torn to pieces in a civil war in which we ended up with the society we're living in now. But realistically speaking, the slave Bible was created so that people wouldn't be influenced by what it said about freedom and fighting for freedom and destroying those who would want to stop you from achieving freedom. But I think that what is more important to note is that happens all the time with all holy books, right? There's a Babylonian Talmud, there's a Talmud of Jerusalem. The Babylonian Talmud is much older, right? You have a different interpretation of the Quran, right? You have people that are Sunni, Shia, and Sufis, which are really interesting people. Mysticism and ideas that we have a spiritual essence that we haven't discovered yet. Look, we can talk about religion all day long, but at the end of the day, if you're just using it to control people so you can have a free hand while you take resources from other parts of the world, then you haven't brought freedom and you haven't brought any enlightenment to people, right? You just created a slave Bible, you know. The Derek Chauvin trial is on now, and people were calling it the George Floyd trial. George Floyd was murdered. He's not on trial, dummy. The cops who murdered him are on trial, and they should be. And New York has ended qualified immunity so people can sue police officers. So now, y'all getting sued. You're getting sued. You hear me? You're all getting sued. And the people who know them, I will probably sue them too. Okay? All right. So I gave you some of my thoughts about religion, music, and morality in music. I'm going to get back to work on the Middle Passage. As you can see, I'm in the lab